Hi, everybody. It's Kimberly, and I don't know exactly what this segment is going to be about. I just wanted to speak off the cuff from the heart and kind of clue you into what's happening in my twin flame scenario relationship and some of the things that I am learning and also still trying to figure out myself. So, um, I have posted videos. I've told you about some struggles that we've had and so on and so forth. And clearly, with all of the planetary things that are happening, and Mercury's in retrograde, and these crazy solar eclipses, and on the cusp of a lunar eclipse, and all sorts of other planetary things that are affecting us in huge ways, that are also calling us to look at our past, look at old wounds, and heal, and connect our head and our hearts so that we can have a harmonious, that unison that will give us the peace and clarity that we need to move forward without, without all of these waves of the past, that keep coming up. And so this can be called purging as we heal those strands or strains of things that haven't been yet completely healed, but that we are aware of already. And I believe that for what's coming up for many is that the things that are coming up to be healed, many of you are already aware of, as I am. And it's like not just a spotlight that's being shown on it, but like the catalyst for blasting it open. Like I feel like a big stick of dynamite is like just landing in the wound, so it'll just go and explode. And that's pretty much what's been happening with my twin and I. And so the battle for me has been between trusting my own intuition and what I know to be, toxic patterns, things that don't sit well in my gut, potential lies and, those types of things, like this doesn't sit well with me. This doesn't make sense, or this, questioning those things and figuring out what is coming from my gut, and then also figuring out what is coming from my own past and my own baggage, right? And trying to discern between those two things is a really hard thing, because the things that are coming from your past or your baggage are from your experience, and a lot of it is up in your head, old memories, triggered thoughts, things like that, and triggered emotions as well. And a lot of the intuitive things just come straight from your gut, and those are gut reactions. So there is this confusion and blur right now, and I think it is due to a lot of what is happening in the cosmos in terms of that discernment and getting that discernment where things become clearer. And I do believe that in the next few weeks we will segue into a much clearer time, but all this retrograde stuff and all this, eclipse stuff is coming up so that we can look deeper into our past. As I have a video that was previously posted about looking 19 years back with the last solar eclipse that happened on September 1st. Now we're heading into a lunar eclipse on September 16th. And that is the same type of thing. This time, that lunar eclipse, last time that was in Virgo, 9 degrees Virgo. I think this time we're 24 degrees Pisces. Last time it was in that same degree of Pisces was 19 years ago in 1997. So a lot of the things that were coming up for healing then are also coming up for healing right now. Of course, you're older and wiser. You've progressed along your timeline and have more wisdom and experience, but a lot of the same karmic things are coming up, maybe showing themselves differently, or, totally different situations or different people, but could very well be for many of you, as they are for me, like karmic things that still need healing within ourselves. So I have had amazing enlightenment with my twin and having all this stuff come up, because it showed me two things. We're both ready to grow, and I've done a lot of growth work, but he's doing it too. As mirrors get held up, he's looking in the mirror, he's coming to me and saying, I want to be a better man, and I will work on this, because this I know that this relationship is helping me to do that. I know that you're helping me to do that. And I know that I want to do that for myself, and I want to be a better man. And, there's this feeling of being called to something higher in each of us. But it's not saying that those growth pains are easy. They are coming in the forms of fighting, old wounds, toxicities, distrust, stuff that is yucky and causes momentary rifts or separations that don't really last, because as I've been saying, we've chosen not to completely separate up until now, but really to turn and face one another and work through all of the problems. So even if there's like a momentary glitch of, I'm walking away or I'm hanging up the phone, like we always return back. So that's great. And that's great. And I think a lot of stuff is starting to be healed from that. And it's really a beautiful growth process, because you feel yourself not only bonding stronger with that person, but feeling it's the vibrational thing. It's that you're both going into the 5D and doing that healing that's raising you up as in your union. And to do that work together, though, is challenging. So as of recently, however, my twin and I went back into a separation. And maybe some of you are shocked by that, but it is necessary right now. It is necessary right now. That's all I can say, is it's necessary. And I love him dearly, and I know that he loves me, but our love for ourselves has to be greater before we can come together harmoniously. And that was shown to us recently via, some things like I've been talking about, some of the toxicities, the untruths, the not wanting to face ourselves. And one situation happened in particular in which there was something at the outset of our relationship, the foundational part, that was not brought to light. And now, all this time later, as so many truths have been shared and so much growth work has been done, something got brought to light that is not resonating with me in terms of it being congruent to the growth work that's already happening, meaning there was a lie or like an untruth, and it was long ago, but it never got corrected. It never got brought to light. It never got fixed. It never got told. It never got anything. So in trying to bring it to light, what happened between my twin and I is I was not trying to threaten our relationship. I was trying to understand where it was coming from and what it was and why it hadn't come being so important and centered around trust, why it hadn't come up until this point. And his reaction showed me, it was just that. It was a reaction. It was a 3D reaction. I've triggered something in him that, made him turn the tables on me and do the dance of that. It was sort of, that the table turning, the unhealthy, toxic table turning thing. And it was not healthy. And he chose to run. And after he ran, because primarily he did not want to face himself, because I hit the wound, I hit the trigger that made me the bad person, made me every person from his past, made me, in his eyes, not good, even though I'm not the one that committed the distrust or, lie or whatever. And to him, I am the culprit. So that is because he does not want to face himself, does not want to own up to this, does not, he's also being thrown into a pattern of this feeling like past relationships, which I was there last week with him. But in this separation, it's different because I don't believe that we will come back, not right away. And I see now that this deep trigger and what has transpired, the reaction, the running away from me, the not coming back, the not communicating, it's different this time, and it's calling us into another separation. I don't know how long it will be for. I don't have a crystal ball. It may be that we do not come back together romantically again. I hope that if that is the case, that this loss or this last purge or whatever it is, this last fight, this last thing that we just went through, will at least cause him to start to heal that piece of him that is for him, I feel like there's like a core trigger, like for all the other ancillary stuff, and I feel like I got it, recently over the past few days, and that this break that we're going into, this separation that we're going into, is necessary because these things cannot be healed with each other. They've been brought up for each other while we've been doing the 3D thing, but I know in my heart of hearts that this requires self-love. This requires reflection. This requires, physical time, space for both of us. And it could really require a lot of time to heal now that I really see where it's coming from and what this is and how toxic it can be for me also. That it's going to need some time and nurturing, and certainly not going to heal overnight. And it is a hard reality to face when I've just spent, a month's worth of time coming into union with him, working through all these problems, feeling like we were really pushing forward and feeling like things were moving really to the next level, even though there was still stuff to be cleared. It just seemed like we were so beautifully working through everything that came up. And so to have this, it's not a setback, you guys. It's just a necessary break. And you have to realize that if you do come into union and have to go back into a separation, you do have to make sure it's not for ego, it's not for pride, it's not for, those reasons, but that it's truly to allow the other person to have the space to do their healing. And for you also, I can use the time too to look at all the stuff that's come up for me, and also determine, are we supposed to come and now have a romantic, union? Is this possible for us to be in a romantic relationship? Twin flame relationships are not necessarily meant to be romantic marriages, life partnerships in that way. There is this deep love, and there is a healing that happens as you explore the connection and come together for it to be mirrored. And I will reiterate and say it is not always meant to be a romantic, lifelong partnership. This is the other piece of your soul. This is your opportunity for growth and healing. And I don't have a crystal ball, and I don't know. I have my own intuitive feelings about what's going to happen, but I don't really know. And this time will tell. And so the weird thing for me is to now, I was really happy and balanced when I was in 5D separation with him, as weird as that sounds. I found that place where I loved myself and everything was great, and I'm doing this spiritual work, and then came back into the 3D with him. I was kind of yearning for the 5D. And now that I'm going back into a separation and, having to be in that higher vibration space, it, again, you feel that pain of like, the physical separation, does hurt. But we just take the tools along with us that we learned before. And I do believe that if we are meant to come together, stay together, be together, and even be life partners, that these things are necessary. Whether it's a few days of separation or several weeks or several months, that healing and self-love and self-reflection is necessary. And I think for us, we tried as best we could to push through all of it while doing a lot of the last purging and things like that together. But it's challenging, especially when a lot of the work we need to do is on ourselves still and on our own, and without having it inflict pain on the other person. So I want to call it the check-in. That's just what's coming to me right now intuitively. It's like we checked in with each other, and we were able to have more than a month of love and growth and time together, and exploring really how absolutely beautiful, I'll cry, the relationship is, but also knowing that you guys, it can be as beautiful as it is, and it's still not harmonious if you can't purge those last strains of yourself. And a lot of it for us is around trust, honesty, clearing out the baggage from our past, and a lot of you feel like my exes for both of us. Well, that's not really our exes. That's really just stuff in ourselves being mirrored back for us, and patterns that we're repeating that we need to look at in ourselves. And so, okay, so that's my message. Sorry for the tears. And I hope everyone's doing well. And I know this is not the easiest month. And many of you have come into union or had communication with your twins, and a lot of you feel like it's ending permanently, or you're not going to have this connection anymore, or you don't want to have the connection anymore. But I'll tell you what, you're always going to have the connection. Allow, breathe, give space when needed. Do not force, and be forgiving, and be loving, and lead with your heart, and know that everything will work out just as it's supposed to. It's when we throw our ego into all of this and get into fear mode, protection mode, worry mode, ego mode, revenge mode, run away, I don't want to look at myself mode, that things start to go wrong. But when we do want to dig into healing and have unconditional love and send love, and give love, and be love, and vibrate in a space of forgiveness and fearlessness and surrender, that's when the real healing can happen, and when things can just sort of fall into place. So just trust. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.